Good evening. The Philippine Coast Guard says the Philippines' deepening security ties with the United States and other countries are not linked with China's escalating aggression in the West Philippine Sea. In a radio interview, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, dispels talks that Manila's cooperative maritime exercises with other countries in the disputed waters are provoking an already irate China. In the same interview, Tariela says Chinese Coast Guard ships performed close-quarter maneuvers near Filipino vessels and threatened the fishermen as if they were going to use the water cannon on them. The incident happened weeks after Philippine forces announced the conduct of naval drills with other countries inside the Philippines' territorial waters as part of this year's Balikatan exercises. A few days after the harassment, Manila conducted a maritime cooperative activity with Australia, Japan, and the US on April 7 within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. Tariela recalls that despite the previous administration choosing not to strengthen its defense partnership with the US, Filipino troops still faced harassment from Chinese naval vessels. He adds that there is no connection that China is being provoked because the Philippines is doing security activities with other countries. Vice President Sara Duterte has no comment on issues about the West Philippine Sea as she prefers to be silent when asked about her stand on China's continued aggression in the area. In an ambush interview, the Vice President says she has no comment on the issue, echoing her brother, Davao City 1st District Representative Paulo Duterte, who had said that questions about the China-related attacks should be addressed by government agencies responsible for the country's foreign policy and external defense. Last month, Duterte was challenged by the Akbayan organization to speak up and make her position known on the matter. The group said the Vice President should show some courage and defend the country's sovereignty instead of using her voice to defend the Kingdom of Jesus Christ founder and alleged rapist, Apollo Quiboloy. On Monday, the Department of National Defense confirmed that 2 Chinese ships were tailing the patrol of the Philippines and its key allies, US, Japan, and Australia, during the maritime exercises in the West Philippine Sea on Sunday, April 7. The Philippine National Police says Kingdom of Jesus Christ founder and alleged sex offender Apollo Quiboloy is entitled to his own opinion by laying certain conditions for his surrender. In a press briefing, PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo says that Quiboloy is entitled to his opinion and that the PNP will respect the judicial power of the court in serving the arrest warrant against him. On April 6, Quiboloy said he would only surrender if the national government assured him that the United States would not meddle in his case. In response, President Bongbong Marcos calls Quiboloy's condition as a tail wagging, adding that the U.S. intervention is far off and that this process may take years. Meanwhile, in the same briefing, Fajardo says that the PNP is ready to provide the necessary assistance to Quiboloy to ensure his safety and security should he decide to surrender. Fajardo renews her appeals to the religious leader and his supporters for Quiboloy to surrender and face the cases against him. The spokesperson reiterates that they have not received any information indicating threats to the life of Quiboloy. On April 3, Davao Court issued arrest warrants against Quiboloy and 5 of his subordinates. They are facing charges of violating Republic Act No. 7610 or the Anti-Child Abuse Law, specifically the provision on sexual abuse of minors and maltreatment. Days later, his 5 co-accused surrendered before Davao authorities and were granted temporary freedom after posting a bail of 80,000 pesos each. Vice President and concurrent Education Secretary Sara Duterte says the return to the old school calendar cannot be rushed. In an ambush interview, Duterte emphasizes the need to consider the rest period of teachers and learners. On February 20, the Department of Education announced the gradual return to the old school break starting next school year through its department order, which declares May 31, 2024 as the new adjusted end date of the current school year. Under the order, the agency likewise announced that school year 2024 to 2025 would start on July 29 and end on May 16, 2025. On April 1, the Teachers' Dignity Coalition acknowledged the gradual transition but called on the Department of Education to implement measures to protect teachers and students from extreme heat. Electricity consumers get some relief after the Manila Electric Company or Meralco announced a rate reduction of almost 1 peso per kilowatt hour in April due to lower generation and transmission charges. In a statement, Meralco says this month's overall power rate will be lower by about 99 centavos per kilowatt hour. The cut translates to a decrease of about 198 pesos in the total electricity bill of residential customers with consumption of 200 kilowatt hour. Drag performer Taylor Sheesh was assaulted by a member of an audience during the Kalutan concert in Bayambang, Pangasinan on Saturday, April 6. In a post on social media platform X, Sheesh, whose real name is John McLean Coronel, says she was still traumatized by the incident wherein a member of the audience had deliberately stuck out his hand and hit the performer in the neck as she was passing by the crowd during a performance. Sheesh is better known as the Filipino impersonator of Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Taylor Swift. Meanwhile, Bayambang Mayor Nina Jose Quiambao apologized to Sheesh through a video post on Facebook saying homophobia and physical abuse has no place in her hometown. Jose added that the perpetrator is already under the police custody and charges are now being prepared against the assailant. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, dispels talks that Philippines' maritime exercises with other countries in the disputed waters are provoking China. Meralco cuts April electricity rate by nearly 1 peso per kilowatt hour. And oil companies announce hefty increase in fuel prices. These are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.